Okay, start streaming. Right, I'm live. Brilliant. Um, did another live feed just earlier, and I made a monumental mistake. What I did was that I had the volume down on my speakers, but the volume was up in the input desktop audio. So I was listening to myself with speaking without actually listening to myself. Because I had the speakers actually down, but the desktop audio was up. So I had this feedback thing going. And I guess the only way to learn properly is to just embarrass yourself in front of 600 of your friends. And I think that's what I just did. Although I don't think anyone watched the last broadcast. But yeah, I just went on live because I was just testing, kind of hopefully entertaining everyone who's watching, all five of you, every single one of you, deeply appreciated for watching. Um, but anyway, yeah, I went live testing a new shot. I've got a 1,000 watt softbox on me, dimmed right down, and a dado light. Backlight to illuminate my beard and give me some kind of separation between background and foreground, and I was explaining in the previous video that because this room doesn't have studio space, it's a quite spacious room, but there isn't kind of that studio floor. The light is actually quite close up, and it's a powerful light. So what I've done is I've dimmed it down, but because of the physics of the filament, when you dim down the light, you pass through less electricity. The light itself becomes orange, and that creates an unnatural skin tone. And I don't want that to. It's not a very attractive look, so I resolved it by adding a filter. I'm not one for adding filters. I abhor filters. I think I don't like putting filters at all, unless I'm using C-Log, but that's a different story, or S-Log. But so I solved the problem by simply turning down the saturation. Now, what would the shot look like without any filter? It would look like, ooh, hang on. It would look like roughly like this. Um, no, let's do it properly. I'm going to delete the color correction completely. So it would look like this, and it's too orangey for my liking, and probably anyone's liking. And if people watching this on telly or whatever were looking at this, we're thinking, oh, that doesn't look quite right. It looks a bit off. But you can easily correct it by adding a filter. And my view is don't add a filter unless you're correcting. I don't like filters at all. So this is a correction filter, and the filter is, yeah, so you add an effect, which is color correction, and then you dial down, there it is, and then until you go black and white. But no, that's too much. I want a little bit of skin tone, of course, as much natural skin tone as possible. And I think, oh, that's too much. Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little bit like that. And yeah, so I think that's better. This particular camera, it's not actually my video camera. It's this is a DSLR, and so it has less color space and less information and less bitrate, fewer bitrate, no, less bitrate, and so there's less you can do in post or or live streaming, because the image is smaller in terms of space. So yeah, you can manipulate it a little bit, but not too much. If I had the other camera, I had probably another piece of hardware and another piece of hardware in between, and a mixer as well. Then you can do a lot more with the tweaking of the image, fine tuning of the image. But I think this does the job, and it's a very easy way of going online. Very simple. Canon released a new utility software that allows DSLRs to become like webcams, which is amazing news. But it puts another company out of business, really, for that particular niche. Funnily enough, their competitors, Blackmagic, Blackmagic, the other year, a couple of years ago, I'm not sure exactly which year, released a camera, a piece of kit that effectively does this job. But apparently, you don't need that bit of hardware anymore. You can just plug and play now, almost. Um, so that's very exciting news, and yeah, it's very good for us consumers, but it's not very good for companies like Blackmagic, who have spent doubtlessly an insane amount on, producing these boxes. But Blackmagic cameras is a very dynamic company. It's a small company, very dynamic, changing the industry completely, and they're moving fast. They're moving fast with their electronics. They're very. I saw an interview with the CEO of the company, and he really impressed me, actually. I really liked his outlook. I'm sure the interview was designed to impress, but what I liked about him is that he didn't care what others thought of him, and he actually told it the way it is, and he told it the way it is, and no holes barred and no filters, and that's the way it should be. I love it when people are like that. You really learn a lot from them. I think they're people who have no filters and say what they really think. I think they're the best teachers about their own. Once if they're self-aware and aware about their own internal processes. Not sure how long the battery will last on the camera, because I've been fiddling around with the lighting for a bit, and this is only a DSLR. It's not a full-blown camera. The software works for DSLR only for the moment, I think. My proper video camera, probably they need to write the software for it to become like a webcam. But just to think, a video camera like that, the one I have at the back, to become a webcam, that's quite a step down. But no, that's not. It's not. Shouldn't think of it like that. It has many purposes. Yeah. Let's see if anyone's watching. Probably not. It's quite late. It's 7 minutes to midnight. Is anyone watching? Let's have a look. Made an embarrassing mistake with live video earlier, but I explained it earlier in the video. So, oh, another mistake. Brilliant. Oh, one mistake after the other. I didn't share it to anyone, so no one's watching. Now people can watch. Now people can watch, because I've changed the privacy settings of live video. Yeah. Okay, now people can watch. I suppose they can do the playback. That's fine. What was I talking about earlier? Yeah, I read an article. Someone shared an article, and I thought it was the best kind of anti-vax article that I read, and it was the most erudite, kind of most medically literate article that I read, and it is a medical doctor, and he explains what the risk is for the vaccine, and he follows on by saying that the risk is minuscule. But he does explain what the risk is, and the risk, which is minuscule, doesn't sound nice actually. It can cause. It says it's if it turns out that way for you, then the change is permanent because the DNA is changed by way of retrovirus, and it can cause an autoimmune disorder, which sounds extremely unpleasant. And he explains the processes of how that can happen. I posted the article earlier, and but there was no reaction to it. So no, I don't expect any reaction to any of my posts. That's not why I post, actually. I post because I want something on record or what have you, and someone finds it useful, then that's absolutely brilliant. But I did post it, and no one reacted to it, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, it's slightly worrying read, because if the vaccine is going to be administered to 6 billion people, and there is a minuscule risk. Oh, Amelie Huber commented on your post. Let's have a look. Many thanks. Happy New Year to you too. I'll reply. Oops, dropped my pen. This is for editing, video editing. Many thanks. Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year, Amelie. Thanks. And react with love. Yeah, she was nice. She was nice to study with at university, and I think she's in Germany now. We didn't study any of the same things at university, but we kind of shared the same bar. And yeah, she was nice. Amelie, she's a mum now. Yeah. See who else is online. For some reason, my messenger doesn't have proper notifications. It doesn't tell you who's online. It's only a recent thing. And yeah, so I'm making all the mistakes with live now, so that when I do get do some live work, I'll be a lot less prone to making them. But anyway, there's filming and then there's going live, and that's a completely different skill set. So I'm not kind of too worried about that, because I don't offer live services at the moment, but I will soon, hopefully, once I make all of the mistakes over and over and over again until I don't make them. I suppose that's how I learnt how to do the film for video thing, because yeah, I think I worked for 2 years without charging for video. 2 years. So I've made all the mistakes at my own expense before I went professional. Still make mistakes as a professional, but a lot less often. Plus, if you buy the best video gear, then you're a lot less likely to be in trouble, because the products that you buy are just so well designed that it's even if you're rubbish at what you do, because the gear is so good, it's difficult to go wrong. Although, having said that, one time someone wanted to do some filming with my camera, and he said, "Can I have a go? Can I have a go?" And I said, yeah, yeah, sure. And then he went out and did some filming, and it was just, oh, really bad, really bad filming. So yeah, maybe I'm just undervaluing myself, undervaluing my skill set, my skills. Um, I'm getting addicted to going live. It's actually quite good fun. Uh, who knows? Maybe I'll build build some watches. But from my privacy settings, I'm not. It's not. This isn't public. So plus, I don't have a format. I haven't rehearsed this. I haven't. I'm not. I'm not taking it seriously. I suppose if I had have a format like Chris Evans. Oh God, I don't like Chris Evans. Because Chris Evans and all these DJs and all these people on TV, it's all about the format and creating a format and rehearsal. Format, rehearsal, 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 live. And yeah, it's all about rehearsal and going live. A lot of rehearsal and live. And that's how you end up with a polished product. People think a lot of people don't realize that it's live work is rehearsed. They think it's kind of just off the cuff and people are kind of almost superhuman, but they're not. They just rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. And when they go live, they know everyone knows what they're doing, because everyone needs to know their mark. You know, you go to this mark at this point, you go to that mark, and the camera will cut to this, then camera will cut to that, and everything will seem like it's smooth, nice and smooth, but it's all rehearsed. Which is why actually I have some frustration sometimes with people who don't realize that they need to rehearse. I um, had that experience a few months ago where there was this guy who he thought he was kind of, you know, Elvis or something. And I was explaining to him, even Elvis rehearsed. And I didn't actually know that Elvis rehearsed, but I know that he rehearsed because I know the nature of the medium. So I did type in rehearsal Elvis, and there is some footage of Elvis rehearsing. So, but this guy, he thought he can kind of wing it, and it's always a bad sign when someone thinks that. But he thought he can wing it on the day, and you know, another camera person would have said, "Yeah, why not? You know, give us your money, and watch it go, you know, tits up, and and then you still get paid." But I just said to him, you know, you do need to rehearse. You need to know your stuff, and he went away. Spoke to him for an hour on the phone. Um, I think it might have been longer than an hour. Actually, it was two conversations, longer than an hour, much longer. And by the end of it, I said, "I'm sorry, I just can't work with you." Um, I would hate for someone to book me and then for them not to rehearse, and me not explaining to them that they need to rehearse, and then on the day they'll be just like uh, um, um kind of thing, for about 5 hours. Having said that, I'm not doing too badly with this ad lib thing. I'm just talking and doing mm, stream of consciousness. I've got a bit of food in between my teeth. Should have flossed before I went on, when I went live. Not sure how the battery is doing. If it switches off suddenly, then you'll know why. It's because the battery's run out. Um, yeah. Oh, it's midnight. I have a habit of getting on late. Maybe because it's quieter around the house. Um, yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. My phone. I'll be right back. My phone. That's a better indicator of who's watching, who isn't, if there's anyone watching at all. Live can be so embarrassing if it goes wrong. Like when I went to get the phone, I was thinking, "Oh no, did I tuck my shirt in?" kind of thing. And I just saw in that it was okay. Oh, it's me live doing a feedback, but live can be so embarrassing. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it can be embarrassing. Yeah. Just watching myself now, just being very, very narcissistic there. Okay. I'm not a narcissist, by the way, I have to say. This is actually quite difficult for me. Very difficult for me to do. But I think it's an important thing to do, to be able to do, especially in today's world. Okay, I'm looking at a post by George Ricks. He posted publicly, "I've been watching the film Dave the Jackal on TV. What I like about it most is the old cars and the 1960s lifestyle it illustrates. Sometimes I think they were better times." Oh, sweet. He's so he is nostalgic. Posted 1 hour ago. Hi George, I see you're online. Hi. And yeah, I get that feeling sometimes with films, definitely. Yeah, especially if I'm watching the film with someone who lived during that time, there's that kind of special aura a film takes. And you really watch them when they're watching the film, you really see they're really feeling and reminiscing that time. So it gives the film a certain aura that it wouldn't have if you were watching it by yourself. Do you find that? I don't know. I think that's what George Ricks is experiencing. Discussing this post right now with in my live broadcast. In my live capital letters broadcast. Smiley face. Okay. Well, promoting, I guess, and just being funny. Okay, Loretta Proctor, she says, she replied, and she says, they definitely were better. Can't recognize this millennial world and all its gadgets. I suppose I'm using gadgets right now. Though, thought policing. Yeah, at times it feels like we are in an Orwellian drama. I say comedy, more of a comedy than a drama. Paul Steigal says, I can certainly speak for the latter half of the 60s being better, George. Oh, someone liked it. Paul Steigal liked it. Liked my comment. Okay, I can certainly speak for the latter half of the 1960s being better, George. Plentiful jobs where you could walk out of one straight into another. No CVs then. Whoa, I had no idea that it was like that. That's amazing. I'm going to love that. Granted, we didn't have mobile phones or electronic games then, but that meant you had to actually talk to one another. I like this Paul person. Oh, I'm voting Labour. Yeah, I like him. He sounds cool. I don't know if he's... Are you watching this, Paul? Love your post. I'm going to write. Love your post. 1960s sounds great. No, I'll just write love your post. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Okay, Liz Draper. Female subjugation. Immediate dismissal if pregnant. Female subjugation. Okay. Immediate dismissal. Is that true? Domestic violence and marital. Oh, in the 1960s. Okay, that makes more sense. Marital rape allowed by law. Half the wages and a quarter of the person of males doing the same job. Yeah, great times. Irony. Sarcasm, rather. Not irony. Sarcasm. And just looking at her Facebook. Interesting. That's another point of view, isn't it? So let's have a look at the controversial reply. The replies to the controversial post. Points taken. Okay, points taken. Sounds like bullets taken. No, not never. We seem to trade problems over time. Okay. Liz Draper replies, true. Maybe this decade's valiant attempt at equity with that decade's lack of advanced technology happily reenact any period in history. But it makes me happier to get back to washing machine, dishwasher, and women's lib. Okay. And Paul Steigel replied, yes, I think you just say it. Hang on. Yes, I think you just say it as you saw it then. Being a male, I never saw that side of things. Excuse me, I'm dyslexic. I'm properly dyslexic, so I kind of stagger a little bit with the written word. Being a male, I never saw that side of things, and luckily most of them don't happen today. We just have new problems to cope with, and we didn't have then. Okay, yeah, I suppose so. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Okay, I won't talk about the private posts because they're private. So I'll go to the public posts. So far, everything's public, private. Someone wrote Brentry. Wonder what that means. Joseph O'Kelly posted 11 hours ago. A friend of mine. Passing clouds 10 years ago. How many do you recognize? Oh God, 10 years ago. That's. I think that's before I knew. Yeah, I think that's like how many months before I knew Joseph? I met Joseph in October, November, and this is January. So yeah. So this was 11 months or 10 months. 10 months before I knew Joseph, and I'm not sure if you can see this image. Hang on. Probably too bright. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can't see this image, but if you go to Joseph O'Kelly's profile, you can see it. And he asks, how many can you recognize there? And the answer is, of course, none. Hi, George. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Enjoyed your post, and I enjoy all of your posts. They're very entertaining. And thanks for everything. All the entertainment and all the artwork that you do. I think it's brilliant. And it's brilliant that you're friends with Joseph. Okay, so the answer is there's no one that I recognize. There's no one that I recognize. I think there might be one person, but I don't know him very well. Passing Clouds was a nightclub that existed. It pains me to use the past tense, but it was a brilliant club in East London, in Dalston, that was started by Eleanor Wilson. And when I first went there, I thought, oh, finally, somewhere that's actually brilliant and decent and has amazing music. And what I really liked about it was the attention to detail that Eleanor has. And it became almost like a franchise. It became a phenomenon in East London. Um, yeah, that it became very popular. And by the time it closed, funnily enough, it had queues around the block. And um, it's funny that it closed as it became popular. It's bizarre, but that was a story to do with the owner of the building who wanted to close the club to, as I understand, create luxury flats, and there was a dispute about it that lasted for a while, and all ended in stalemate, and then for ages, and then another club opened in its place, and then now it's shut down. But what I liked about it was all the different exotic furniture that Eleanor seems to have found. She might have flown, who knows, Southeast Asia, and said, "I want this," and brought it back to London, and you had this amazing space. And she created this very nurturing environment to local musicians. Um, and the music was brilliant because it was live and it was genuine, and it was what musicians played rather than what is popular to a crowd. Um, the songs that we hear endlessly in mainstream media, on TV, on radio, you hear none of that. All what that was played was genuine and off the moment and improvised, and it was buzzing. It was brilliant. I do remember it got a little bit hot upstairs. Needed air conditioning, but that was my only gripe. It was a brilliant place. But that's how I met Joseph back in November 2011. And in fact, Joseph inspired me to start with the whole video thing, because I saw his camera and his photography, and it was brilliant. And I thought, digital's finally come of age. And oh, hi George, just saw your message. Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. And Joseph asks, 10 years ago, this club, Passing Clouds, which I'm sure you can't properly see. Is that properly exposed? Yeah, there you go. That's in focus now. Who do you recognise? And the answer is, I recognise one person, but very marginally. 2010. I think I was doing my master's degree back then. Too busy, really. Yeah. Let's see who else. Oh, next person on my list, Michael Rosen. Michael Rosen usually don't know him personally, but I follow him. He's a poet, children's laureate, ex-children's laureate, and this is quite a good light for very good light. Yeah, okay, so very convenient light there. It's prop light. I noticed Ridley Scott does that a lot. He puts lights in the props, and other directors, but especially Ridley Scott, noticed he does that. It's a very good way to hide a light. And I've got it right on my face, and it's a very nice light, phone light. So Michael Rosen, he writes, I think I saw Ian Duncan Smith on TV. This is going to be good. Last night, looking very happy, saying, "Now we can dominate the world." That's very good. 1, can we? 2, why would we want to? And 3, is he okay? Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's that kind of Brexity utopia that people jumping up and down about sometimes. Michael is usually much more witty than that, but that was good. Okay, next one. Next one's very philosophy-oriented post, but I'm not sure. What I'll do is I'll get my speech recognition read out loud software to read it, and that will make it easier. But it's a quite complex post about consciousness. So let's have a quick listen. Hang on.
Professor Jonathan, excited to be a lead editor with Professor Jonathan Schooler on a special research topic for the journal Frontiers in Human Neuroscience on electromagnetic field theories of consciousness. Opportunities and obstacles. These types of theories, of which our general resonance theory of consciousness is a species, suggest that electromagnetic field dynamics are in fact the dynamics of consciousness itself. We put together a great team of editors and are inviting papers on a range of related topics. Please let me know if you'd like to receive a call for participation to submit.
That's fascinating. Academic. I'm not involved in the field, but I'm following a group that is, and I think that's fascinating. So what makes us human is indistinguishable from the electromagnetic field, apparently. That's quite something, and it's definitely something that ought to be researched properly. Okay, so that's from Origins of Consciousness group, and Tam Hunt posted that. So maybe something you might be interested in, who knows? The group was created by someone who creates stunning videos on YouTube about the origin of consciousness, and they're just absolutely brilliant. They're worth seeing. If you go to the group Origins of Consciousness, investigate, and then find the YouTube channel and watch that. That's really interesting. Okay, next one. Is that interesting? Next, someone I like to follow. His name, I don't know him personally. I met him, had a good conversation with him once. He's an academic from King's College London, and he's kind of Trotskyite, I think, Marxist, and this might turn a lot of people off, I know, but someone called him, not me, I don't believe this, but someone called him the darling of the loony left. The darling of the loony left. But the person who called him that was used to be a liberal Democrat, so that says everything. Okay, so he posted an article saying the left must stop mourning Brexit and start seeing its huge potential. Very interesting. So that means that there is potential in Brexit. Yeah, there is. Definitely, I think there is potential, but who knows? We'll only know in 10 years' time. That's the truth. It's difficult to tell now. Okay, next public post. Sponsored one. Someone posted the cake saying 2021, and it has Bob's Father Christmas, but mixing messages there between Christmas and New Year's Eve, and his sleigh and reindeer. Next public post, Ingrid Busquet. Some very, very nice person who I met a while ago now, and but we haven't had the chance to meet up again. But I'd love to see her again. She's lovely. She says, Happy New Year. The station orbits the Earth at 17... Oh, it's International Space Station. At 17,000 miles per hour, 28,000 kilometers per hour, enabling the crew to see 16 sunrises and sunsets each day. That's stunning. Puts things into perspective. Nuts, really. It's just a different... It's like a different like we experience things in 4D. So there's longitude and latitude and depth. And thanks for the like, George. the other video. I saw it now on my screen. But then if you're flying, I mean, it just breaks the day pattern for millions of years. If someone's flying around the globe, orbiting a globe. It's the first time people see sunsets like that. I mean, anyway, trying to be philosophical. Excuse me. Next one. That's private. That's private. Okay. Lucy Ridley posted publicly 2021 intentions. Think on the community scale versus individual scale. Wouldn't that be lovely? But people have become very individualistic, more and more so in recent years, even more so. Become very insular, I think, and less open, I feel, than before. But maybe that's just the way things are. Anyway, so that's the first intention. Second intention, prioritize matters of the heart. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I think that's important. Put your heart first. How you feel about things. Very good. Only take what you need. Yep, I need to declutter. I've got a lot of clutter. I worked for the tip for about 6 days during the lockdown, and that really helped me actually with the idea of decluttering, because a lot of things I need to throw away, and a lot of things I need to throw away, and I haven't got around to it. Like, the house is just full of stuff I just don't need, and decluttering is a good idea. If you have an emotional attachment to an object, don't throw it away. And if you have no emotional attachment to it, it's better to throw it away. Consider your impact. Agreed. Spend time in nature. Definitely. Want to go to a forest, maybe go for a run in a forest. There's one nearby. It's called Hitchwood. Want to go run there. Connect to the earth, whatever that means. I suppose I do walk around barefoot in the house. I don't do that outside, but some people do. I remember there was a group of people at university who used to walk around campus with bare feet. I thought it was ace, but it's not something that I would have done. But who knows? Maybe if I walked around bare feet on campus, that would have endeared me to them, but probably alienated the rest of the campus. I think you have to be very special to walk around barefoot in a public institution. But yeah, that's to do with connecting with Earth. Prioritize rest. Yeah, these are all very good. Sleep is very important. It's 12:30 here, so maybe I should go to sleep. Consume less. Yep, agreed. Play more. Agreed. I do play a lot. And be love. Very good. Joseph O'Kelly liked it, I can see, and 18 others, I think. Yeah, so I'll like that too. There you go. There you go, Lucy. We've never met. I only know you through Joseph. This will be an interesting post, but privacy settings set to friends only, so I'll respect that. Your verdict, George Ricks. Okay. Would the doctor who illegally euthanized King George V have been hung if he found out at the time? Yeah, I did hear about this. Apparently he injected him with opium and cocaine. It's a tough one, actually. I don't know. I don't think people were as aware of the medical profession as they are now. We kind of people have a rudimentary understanding of medicine now than they didn't then. People were a lot less. I suppose he's a king, so he'd be literate, and he'd know about things that ordinary folk wouldn't know about, and his family as well. But it could be argued that it was to hasten and make things a lot easier. Yeah, Would he have been hung? The answer to that is I don't think it would have been relevant at the time because no one would have understood. No, people would have been less people were much more trusting of doctors back then, I think. They wouldn't have understood kind of medical negligence or medical, in this case, not negligence, but murder. Is it murder? Well, that's arguable, actually. I suppose the key element is consent. But someone who's dying, depends how conscious they are. Would they want? Was it discussed earlier with the doctor? There are so many elements to this. Or was it? Did the King George V discuss it with the doctor beforehand? I doubt it, actually. But yeah, that's an interesting subject. It's a very important subject, isn't it? Okay, next post, and let's make it the last post. It's a Brexity post about Brexit. Yeah. Okay, so I'll end with this one. Mate, I've got to go and sit outside with my cat. You know how it is. I'll catch up with this later. You don't have to, Michael. Reply. I'll reply later. So this is from a political group called the Daily Politic with a K. And if not having EU citizenship is the best thing for British citizens, why are all those who can afford it purchasing EU citizenship now? And it's about Stanley Johnson's maneuver in the nationality game. He's applying for French citizenship. I don't know. Well, Stanley Johnson was pro-EU. He's been pro-EU all his entire life. So, sins of sons visited upon fathers. It's a difficult one to argue. Yeah. So I don't agree with that particular post. Okay, next post by Billy Bragg. In the late 1980s, a member of my US touring crew. Oh, this is Billy Bragg, and he's saying, let's use my anti-dyslexia software, and so I don't have to burden myself as much.
In the late 1980s, a member of my US touring crew, Vaughan Martinian, began bringing his video camera on the road. Between 1987 and 1991, he filmed gigs, sound checks, backstage ramblings, truck stop reveries, and whatever he thought worthy of pointing his camera at.
Oh!
Since lockdown begun, Vaughan has been logging the tapes at his home on Long Island, and while we wait for live shows to start up again, I thought you might like to see some of this vintage BB footage. This first segment comes from a show I did in Burlington, Vermont, on the 29th of October 1988. It was a benefit for Bernie Sanders, then the mayor of the city.
Wow.
To help raise funds for his first attempt at winning a congressional seat. It's the first 5 songs from my set, played on the Arbiter TV.
Okay, that's enough of promoting Billy Bragg. A friend of mine called Michael, who just commented on the video, he's doing the exact same thing. He's going through some footage that he filmed during this epic voyage that he went with a bunch of travelers, friends, through I think the Silk Road, but doing it reverse. So starting from Europe and then going all the way east, all the way to China. And he filmed the whole thing. And he's got I think he told me 16 terabytes of video, which is a lot. And it was a long time ago. It was back in 2006, and he's only kind of sat down to do the editing during the lockdown. He's done a lot of the logging of footage, and it's the same as what Billy Bragg's friend did. So I look forward to seeing the results of that. It should be interesting. He told me some of the intrigue of that trip and what happened, and the psychology and the group psychology, how it evolved as they moved from country to country. So I look forward to seeing that. Another Michael Rosen post. Let's see what he says. So he's parodying Bojo. Oh, didn't say that. Boris Johnson. Didn't say Bojo. I don't like that. Okay, so let's see what Michael Rosen says.
Dear Dominic, thought we'd kick off the new year with a flourish. A reset, if you like. We've decided to keep primary schools open. Sorry, as you were, closed. That is, open in a closed sort of a way. Secondary schools will be both open and closed. Ecludo Ludo. Boris.
Brilliant. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I'm getting better at broadcasting. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Lot to learn, but first thing is don't go on air with a piece of food and stuck in between your teeth. It'll bother you. And it'll make you stutter as well. This is turning into a long broadcast. Let's try and find something more interesting than Michael Rosen's post, although they are very interesting. Oh yeah. Someone posted a picture of a guy on the New York Underground or Tube, or what do they call it? Metro, New York Metro, and he had an iPhone, but also a receiver. So he had an old style receiver handset, and apparently you can plug it in and have an old fashioned conversation with it, but the audio quality isn't as good. Let's have a look. Hang on, to change the. That's it. Can you see? There it is. Not a very good picture, but Cambridge Diary. A photographer who goes around Cambridge and does some very good pictures, some amazing pictures actually. He's a very accomplished photographer. His name is it's a Cambridge Diary, and he posts images about Cambridge, and this particular post is about Cambridge market closing for COVID. Not ideal. Right, that's it. That's all I have to say, and thanks for watching. If you have, and I'd be amazed if you watched all of it. And I hope wish you all a happy new year and a productive 2021, and happy year.